Hello and welcome back to my channel, and hopefully the first of many in a scrapbooking series that I have really needed to start working on. I actually had a subscriber request that I do scrapbooking content about a year ago, and this is me a year later just getting started. I don't know why I've put it off this long. I literally have all the supplies available to me that I could possibly need for this. I think I just have so much content saved up on my computer, just photos, videos, all of this stuff that I could potentially use for scrapbooking material, that it's almost overwhelming for me. And I'm an overthinker. So when that happens, I just sometimes freeze up and I don't even get started. Anyway, this is me getting started and trying out scrapbooking for the first time. I have done projects in the past that were technically kind of like scrapbooking, namely this video I did last year where I made a shadow box. If you haven't seen that one, here's the link. It's a fun project to work on. I definitely want to do more shadow boxes, but I'm trying to simplify things a little bit more into just pages. My goal with this series is to document possibly just everyday life. So in a sense, it could be journaling / scrapbooking, but there will be different scrapbooks and I'll probably work on them all at different times. I need to make a wedding scrapbook. I want to do a travel one because I've taken quite a few really cool trips in the past couple of years. And I also just want a scrapbook for things that aren't super exciting, but are just happy memories. Like maybe I went on a coffee date with my husband, or I went hiking with friends, stuff like that. Speaking of which, this is my first time scrapbooking, so if you are a seasoned scrapbooker and you have helpful tips and tricks, please share them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Also, if this page ends up being really bad, please be kind. I'm doing my best. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, gotta take a quick look in my craft cabinet and see what is available. So when I said I had a lot of supplies, this is what I meant. These are all unfilled scrapbooks and photo albums. And I think the one that I'm working with today will be this one. I just feel like this one would be good for just everyday moments and fun memories with family and friends. I also have a collection of stickers, and I think there are probably some in here that would be perfect for this project. What's in this one? Stickers! Ooh, cards, stickers, pictures. What are those? I think this is all stuff that's left over from my wedding. Magnets. Ooh. This is my collection of craft paper. I have a lot to work with here. Because it's beach themed, I'm not really sure what I want to go with. This is kind of pretty, so maybe something from this book. This one also has some fun seasonal pages. So I'll sort through this one and see if maybe there's something I can use. Seems good. I decided to go with the sand print paper because it's a nice neutral background for what I was planning on being a very full layout. I already knew I was doing a beach themed page, but I had a lot of photos to choose from as I've taken so many during the spring and summer. I do have a home printer which does an amazing job with larger format photos, but I'll often use the self-serve printing kiosk at Walmart to print smaller 4x6 photos. It's fast and relatively inexpensive. I decided to do a page about my first time paddleboarding. My husband got this board for me as a gift, and going paddleboarding has been such an amazing part of my summer this year. My first step was figuring out where I wanted my photos to go and where I'd like the rest of my elements to sit. The photos are the most important part, so making sure that they have a nice placement in conjunction with everything else is really important. My next step was to sort through my stickers and find some that match my theme and mesh well with the colors in the photos. I played around with this step for a very long time. I just have so many stickers to choose from, and a lot of them don't really match, so I was trying to figure out which ones would look best with the photos, and I was planning on adding some other elements in the future, so this part was just a whole process. While I do live at the beach, I live along the Chesapeake Bay, which is not technically the ocean, and during this time of year, there are tons of jellyfish. So I do in fact go paddleboarding in jellyfish-infested waters, and it definitely motivates me to not fall off my board. The next step in creating my layout was to make some fun text elements. I knew I wanted a couple little blurbs about the day, explaining what Steven and I had been up to, and I also wanted to add the date in a creative way. I made my text elements in Adobe Illustrator and printed them on my home printer with standard printer paper. In the future, I'll probably use cardstock or colored paper that's a little heavier, but I didn't have any on hand for this one. To create the date element, I made a PNG file using Adobe Illustrator. The plan was for the text to be removed so the sand background paper would show through for extra visual interest. I made sure certain detached shapes remained part of the design by adding some connectors and turning the whole thing into one big shape. I then chose some pretty green metallic polka dot paper and used my Cricut to cut the design. I'm super pleased with how this piece turned out, and I will definitely be using this method for other scrapbook elements in the future. For the next step, I had to rearrange my photos, and now that I had some new things to add. I didn't need to move them too much though. I eyeballed everything, and maybe I should have measured, but it turned out nice. I did use a pencil to mark tiny dots where the tops of my photos and date cards would go because I did need some kind of frame of reference because I had to move my photos to attach tape to them and then put them back. I haven't done mini scrapbook type projects, but I have worked with quite a bit of photos and paper, and I've found when working with paper it's best to use double-sided tape or mounting squares to attach things. This isn't always the case, but glue often causes bubbling and puckering if applied too liberally. I did use a tiny bit of tacky glue in conjunction with the double-sided tape to attach the date card. I used a toothpick to dab tacky glue in tiny bits to the areas that were too small for tape. In the future, I may do a couple test runs with spray glue, which I used quite a bit back in college for mounting photos and print materials, and it usually worked really well if done properly. Unfortunately, it was a messy business if I didn't attach something evenly, because once it's adhered, there's really no going back. I also used scrap paper for this project to press my pictures down so I wouldn't get fingerprints on anything. After adding the main elements, I started finalizing my sticker placement. I knew I wanted to add some crab stickers as well as the jellyfish. I've seen some crabs swimming around while I was out paddleboarding, and they are such a big deal here along the Chesapeake Bay. I ended up needing my Cricut weeding tool to detach the backing from a lot of these stickers. I don't know why these individual stickers are just such a pain to detach the backing from, but they just are. If you have some of these and you don't have a Cricut weeding tool, a pair of tweezers would probably work just as well. Hello, it has been a couple of days since I finished making the page. I ended up taking a little bit more time on it than I was expecting. I put everything together and then walked away from it and then came back again. That's just sometimes how things work for me, but I am super pleased with the results. I'm so happy that I was able to share the process with you all, especially since it was my first scrapbook page. I'm actually really proud of it. I know it may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoy it. And that's the thing about scrapbooking and art in general. It's all very subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But overall, I really enjoyed the process, and I have a lot of ideas for pages in the future and also different ways to use my Cricut. I definitely don't use my Cricut enough, and this gives me a lot of excuses to use my machine without the use of vinyl. Vinyl is very expensive. So using the Cricut to cut paper, definitely a little bit more affordable. Overall, I just really enjoyed this entire process, and I plan on filming more vlog style scrapbooking videos in the future. I don't know if anyone will watch them, but if you enjoyed this video and would like to see others like it, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And I think I'll end the video here. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell button so you can be notified next time I upload a video. Well, until the next one, I am out. Bye!